I would describe myself as compassionate, just outgoing, adventurous. I love to try new things. It was in elementary school when I first realized that my mom was doing drugs. She would yell a lot, but she could get kind of physical, and so we would get in fights sometimes. Well, at first I just tried to forget about it, but then after a while I started self-harming. And then there were a couple times where I would find from either family or friends, I would take different medications and try to take a bunch of different things at once that I thought would try to kill myself or try to hang myself a couple times. And so I was first taken away and put with family. I lived with a grandma, and we got into an argument one night. And so she smacked me, and it just didn't go well. So I called the police, and they told me I could go live with a friend. Well, they said I could go to a friend's house until my worker decided. So I stayed with a friend for like 3 days. And then my worker came to school one day and picked me up and took me 2 hours away. When I first got to Maryhurst in general, I was angry, so I don't really remember a whole lot. I just remember being angry, and I can look back and see, all this happened for a reason and led up to here. Sometimes I think even bad things where I'm like, well, if that never happened and I never got sent to Maryhurst, would I have ever met Katie? I don't know. When I think about Maryhurst, I just think about relationships, because I still have lots of relationships with several staff. When Maryhurst staff took notice of me or interest they were very individualized. So just the fact of getting to go to open houses at Homerama because I loved house things. So they took what I loved and they always encouraged me in those areas. I wouldn't have said at Maryhurst that Katie was my favorite staff. But Katie always kept contact afterwards. And then when she asked me to dog sit for her, I just felt this healing with trust. Katie baptized me around Easter a couple years ago. I just figured there has to be something better than the way things were. And so I just started searching out more and more of that, and she introduced me to the Wings of Refuge. After going to Wings and just getting a lot of inner healing with fears and anxiety and trauma, then I just began to learn more about how God sees me, as his child, that I belong. So when I first started going to the Wings of Refuge, I didn't work there. I just went as a client. But now I work there. We still receive ministry, but I work there, and so I take on different roles. I help out in the prayer room, praying with people. We're in the session rooms as a side intercessor, meaning I just take notes and pray. So Katie became a missionary, I'm not even sure how long ago, but she moved overseas to actually the Middle East first. She lived in the Middle East for a while, and now she's with Wings in Uganda. And I go to Uganda, each year. I've been 3 years now. So I'm getting ready to go on my 4th this June. When I go to Uganda, we go to the same little town called Mbali, and we just love on people there, minister to them. We go to the hospital and pray with people. We go to a place called CRO, which is for street children, the youth prison. And so often I like going to those places just because I feel like I can relate in some sense. So I graduated in December from JCTC's nursing program, and I've always wanted to help people. I feel like nursing's always been the thing that I've always wanted to do since I was little. I couldn't imagine at 13 where I am today. Ultimately, I'm not 100% sure what is my next steps. I just kind of waiting and hopefully get settled in my new position as a new nurse and get some experience and travel some more, and then we'll see. Without Maryhurst, I would be dead or just in a very different path.